Welcome to Kidmissing Radio. I'm your host, Angelina Wilson. This is part 2 of the big Asha degree update. Now, in reading the warrants, there's a it's quite a read. And the hair that was found on her undershirt. And apparently, the New Kids on the Block shirt that's been called a t-shirt for all these years, well, there's a picture of it out there. It's a nightgown. It's what we call a t-shirt nightgown. So, excuse me. Still think it could be one of the daughters. One thing that is important to discuss is the photograph found with some of her belongings in a barn. Now, was that photograph in general proximity to, or was it literally with the pencils and the candy wrappers, like mixed in with them? Because if not, that picture could have come from anywhere. How long did the lady own the house? Could it have been the previous owners? Could it have been someone that got on the property at night and slept in the barn? Could have been any of that. And so, it's hard to know if Asha had the picture on her. Her family apparently didn't recognize the little girl in the photograph. Now, this was in the year 2000. The picture, people have been debating the picture over on Reddit. Some people say it looks like the 80s. Some people say it looks like the 90s. Some people say late 90s. Some people say early 90s. It varies greatly. In my personal opinion, first of all, it's a black and white picture, which would be unusual for a school picture, even in the 80s, unless the parents chose black and white, which they did have that option. I think it looks 80s. I mean, it is possible that it wasn't actually a black and white picture, and the copy of it that we see is in black and white. Oh my God. Anyway, you know what I mean? Because the copy is from a newspaper. Newspapers are in black and white. I think the original picture was in color. It would be nice if somebody could post the original color picture. It certainly looks like the picture was in color to start with. I mean, and they certainly should have shown the picture to Ash's class, or at least to their parents, to say, do you recognize this child? And just to see, do they recognize this child? And it should have been very easy to find out who took that Dr. Seuss book, Mr. Elligott's Pool, out of the school library. Now, according to a lady I heard today, it wasn't from Asha's library, Asha's school, and they didn't know where it came from. In other places, I've heard that it came from her school library. She just wasn't the one that took it out. Which is it? No matter what library it came from, you should be able to find out who took it out. Now, most libraries did not have the computer system yet. In the year 2000, they were still using the cards. So it should be even easier. They should have been able to go to that library, school library, regular library, whatever it was, and say, okay, who took this book out? You know? And the library should have been able to tell them. So that confuses me. And in reading the warrants, it does appear that they think the girls had something to do with it. And the parents helped them put her little body somewhere. I'm struggling with how to put it. At the end, I'll give you the phone number for the police, just like I did in the last part. Excuse me. Now, they took when Ash's bag was found, it was found buried in trash bags by a construction crew. Now, I stand by what I said, which is that that the DNA and the nightgown, got put in that bag in the panic of picking everything up. They didn't pay attention. And that's probably how the guy's DNA got there, because they were his caregivers. Well, they were his emergency contact. And they used to take him back and forth to appointments, which is why his DNA was in the car, and probably why it was on her stuff. I think the scariest thing that they took was a .22 caliber rifle. I think, as usual, the police know more than they're telling us. Breathe. Um, and they took the girls' journals. I think they're expecting to find something written in the journals about what happened that night. Why would they not take their journals with them? Um, this is a little out of whack here. There we go. Okay. Okay. At the Hawthorne Lane address, they took a red Samsung Galaxy Tab 2, a flash drive, quote unquote, containing photos, a Dell computer, and they have the serial numbers, the Lenovo laptop, an external hard drive. Again, they have all the serial numbers, a digital camera, floppy disk, assorted CDs, and assorted SD cards. Like I said before, it's going to take a long time to go over all that. Plus, what they took from the Cherryville Road address, which you got to remember somebody else has been living there for 5 years. I hope they got into those locked rooms. 2 silver disposable cameras, film, micro VHS tape, we went over that, LG flip phone, the journals written by 2 of the girls, DSS complaint documents, transport logs. Okay, what they're looking for in transport logs is their logs of the transportation that they provided for the patients in their care home. And they're looking for when did they transport Underhill. A green AMC Rambler. AMC is American Motors Corporation. Documents containing Russell Underhill's name. Again, they were his emergency people. A black trash bag. I'm not sure why a trash bag. Because it's not going to be the same trash bags that her book bag was found in 2001. Carhartt jeans. Again, I don't know that they would be from 2001. Children's clothing, a silver cell phone, and a 22 caliber rifle. Do you have any idea what that would do to a child? I mean, an adult could probably, depending on where they were shot, could survive a 22 caliber because it's a small bullet. But a small child? Yeah, no. What I'm looking for next is, I believe all they took from the daughter was her, was an old BlackBerry phone. And they also got a warrant for a buccal swab from Connie Dedman, Roy Dedman's wife, and the mother of the 3 girls, because they believe her DNA is going to be present on Asha's stuff. They must have more DNA that they haven't identified on the stuff from the bag. Um, that would be my guess. Anyway, because police don't show you all their cards, nor should they. Now, this thing says that Russell Underhill had aliases. Not even sure what website this thing about the aliases and whatnot came from. Okay. It was a. It was a criminal. Okay. It was a criminal case. Um, he went to jail for no more than 24 months for carrying a concealed weapon. This was in. Where the heck is the date, guys? Oh, is that 1984? And we hear why? Anyway, they said he had all these aliases. Russell Hill, Rusty Hill, and of course, Russell Bradley Underhill, which was his name. He probably went by Rusty. His name was Russell. And as far as Hill, that could have been just a mistake. You know, a misprint, somebody's writing. But yeah, they said that the mother's DNA would be a part of this. And Roy has had run-ins with the police himself in October of 1998. Which we discussed in the last show. There is just so much. Asha was a 9-year-old African American little girl. And we still don't know where she is. Her parents, Harold and Aquila, don't know where she is. Her brother O'Brien doesn't know where his only sibling is. She disappeared on her parents' wedding anniversary. Her mother got up all happy that morning when she remembered that it was Valentine's Day, so it was her wedding anniversary. She went in and her daughter wasn't there. She woke O'Brien and he said, heard her bed squeak, but figured she was turning over. And I went back to sleep. And so police were called, and about a year later, well, no, less than that. A few months later, some of her stuff was found in the barn with the picture. About a year later, her backpack was found buried in 2 black garbage bags. And had the New Kids on the Block nightgown and a book that she didn't take out of the library. So that's kind of going back and giving you the rundown, um, which is important. But they never released until 2018 that they had found her bag and everything that was in it and stuff. Again, they keep things close to the vest. And I think they know more than they're saying in this case. I think that we're going to be at a solve here soon, because I do believe that police are still questioning that family, and I believe that um, one of the girls will tell on their parents. And I wonder why they think mom's DNA is going to be found. Um, I didn't see anything about a buccal swab from Roy Deadman. Again, it's very unlikely that the man living in the care home did something to her. And they wouldn't have been taking him to a doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock in the morning, or whatever weird time of the morning it was, when Asha was out. And a 16-year-old shouldn't be out driving at that time of the day. As a matter of fact, where I live, well, first of all, where I live, you only have your permit at 16. You can't get your license till you're 16 and a half. So, and they have strict rules about the hours which you can drive and who you can drive with. Now, those rules only came into being in the last 15 years or so, long after I would have had a license had I had a license. Because so many kids would get into accidents because they were distracted by all their friends, but it's always been the case that you couldn't drive after dark on a learner's permit. And when you first get your license at 16 and a half, 17, I don't believe you're allowed out after dark to drive, unless um, for a certain period of time, because it's a beginner's license. It's a different kind of license. They may have changed um, that part of it. They may not do that anymore, but I thought it was for the first either 6 months or a year. But anyway, these girls had their license back before they started that. It was in 2000. I don't think they had started um, what's the word? Clamping down on teen drivers as much at that point as they have in the last 15 years or so. And, And I guess in some states you can get your permit when you're 15 and your license when you're 16. But not up here. 16 to get your permit and 16 and a half to get your license. Unless you've been in some kind of trouble, then they will block you from getting your license until you're 18. My father was a bit of a wild kid, and that's what they did to him. They blocked him from getting it until he was 18. Which they can do. So. Thank you so much for joining me for this second half. I think I mentioned in the first half that I might have to do another episode. And if you haven't listened to that one yet, go ahead and listen to it. But I'm going to get out of here because my breathing sucks. And I'm sure you're tired of listening to me cough. God bless you. Thank you so much. Join me next time. Please follow the podcast. Next time I will be doing a very exciting show that will probably become a series on here. So check it out. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll give you more information on that as it gets closer. Bye, guys. God bless you. And have a wonderful rest of your day.